Guys, Dr. Mo here, digital nomad physician at digitalnomadphysician.com. So for those of you who have your own virtual medical practice or even your physical medical practice, your private practice, you're going to want to set up an account, for example, with LabCorp. So I kind of wanted to take you through that process. It can be a little bit frustrating, but it's not as bad as you think. And essentially what this is an account for you to be able to order a blood test or a urine test or culture for a patient through a portal. So the portal here is called LabCorp Link. The way to set up an account with them is to go through a LabCorp representative. If you go on the website and you say you're a physician, then there is a representative. Now, the trick here is if you say, oh, I'm just about starting, I don't have any patients yet, they're just not going to get to you. But if you say, I got a lot of patients, I don't know where to send them, and I want some help with it, they usually will reach out to you much faster. Just letting you know, I'm not saying what you should do, but that seems to be the consensus. Once you reach out to this client rep, they're going to set you up with an account. And once you have an account, you actually get a number. That number is what you need. A lot of your electronic health records are going to be able to use that number to integrate that LabCorp link. So LabCorp is link.labcorp.com. If you guys aren't familiar with that yet, they will be able to pull in lab and you can order a lab through the electronic health record. So it's basically an API that makes it easy. But again, I don't want to deal with any of that. My patient volume is not that big. It's quite manageable, so I can go on LabCorp website myself and do it. So that's what this video is about, going on the website and doing it. I'll share some screenshots so you guys can get a sense, but it's really easy. You essentially are going to create the actual patient profile yourself. So I would put in my name, Mohammed Ashori, my date of birth, and the address for the patient. And once I create that, that actually becomes part of LabCorp. And so that person, that patient that's created can now be searched by other physicians. So in fact, you can do that as well. If there is a patient in the LabCorp system that has had a test done in the past, you can search for that person and all their lab tests. Of course, get their permission first, but that's really nice. That way you don't double order something. My medical practice is virtual, so everybody's going to go to an actual LabCorp site to get their blood drawn. I don't do anything at a physical location that I have to send out. So it's really easy for me. And there's often a blood draw fee that they end up having to pay, but it's not much. Now, when it comes to costs, I'll mention that right now. It is always cheaper if you bill it through yourself, which is called the client billing versus patient billing. And then there's, of course, Medicare billing, Medicaid billing, and you can bill the insurance company. Those are all the options once you create the order. For example, you order a CBC and a CMP. The CBC might be 40, the CMP might be 30, and then the A1C might be another 50. So if you order those and you send it to yourself, you get a discount. So if I want to pass that discount down to my patient, I can, or I can, of course, upcharge, and I can say your entire bill, let's say my cost came out to $170. I can tell the patient I'll charge you $250. So that spread is something you're allowed to charge for. Alternatively, I can say I'll pass that cost down to the patient, so it's $175. Let's say I'm going to charge the patient $175. Alternatively, you could have the patient get billed directly, so it's usually a little bit higher. It might be like $190 instead of $175, but that patient then goes to LabCorp. They pay the bill themselves. It's cleaner in that sense. All of this you can negotiate. You can negotiate these prices with your account rep. So that's the key. Once you have an account rep, you can negotiate. But how do you negotiate? You need some patience. Once you have a little bit more volume, a little bit more consistency, you'll be able to negotiate really, really good prices. So keep that in the back of your mind to kind of negotiate for those prices in the future when it's necessary. There is also a stat code. Most of you are not going to need that, but if you are doing anything like that, there's usually like a $50 add-on, and then you can order the test, CBC, CMP, and then add a stat code to that. I think the number was 998074. Not that you need to memorize that. And you get charged, the patient would get charged $50 for that. You would get charged like $35 for that if you did the client billing. That's pretty good to know. Other drop-down menu options are things like, is it a straight Medicare patient? Then you can actually bill Medicare directly. Makes it really nice, right? So a test that's covered by Medicare, it will show as 0, and the test that's not covered. And that's it's a little bit confusing when you go to that menu to try to figure out what the actual cost is for the patient. But for example, there is a good faith report or good faith estimate GFE button that you can press on the LabCorp link, and so you can print that out for the patient. Say, hey, this is what all those tests are. For example, a patient's like, I want a GI panel. I want a viral upper panel. Okay, yeah, sure, $2,000. Here's the good faith estimate, right? If that's what the patient wants, you're more than welcome to do it. One way that I do it in my practice is if I think it's necessary for the care of that person, I will eat the cost. So that's really good for your direct primary care patients. And if the patient just wants it, they're like, I want to get a lipid panel every week. Great, absolutely, I can order that for you. It's a direct cost to you. I don't get any profit from it, so you can go ahead and get that test done at any LabCorp facility, and you would pay for it. When the test is billed to you, which again is called client, I'm considered the client, the physician, then I will get a bill at the end of the month that I can then pay within the portal. So it makes it super easy to pay off your account, get it back to 0. Other things that I think are less important is you can get lab results faxed from one office to another. You can automate faxing. You can get notified of results. LabLink is really good in the sense that, or LabCorp Link is really good in the sense that if you order a test and the patient doesn't show up, they get notified. And if they get notified and they still don't go, you get notified. I think that's really powerful, just because we don't want patients falling through the crack, but I hope nobody here is starting a private practice where patients can fall through the crack, of course. The last thing is you can create order lists for yourself, so you know these are the common things that you order, so you can customize that. And if you need to, you can also have standing orders. Now, I don't think I'm going to use a lot of that, but those of you who want standing orders for diabetic patients, those of you who are specialists, that's very powerful. And everything's virtual, by the way. So you don't need to print a lab slip anymore. Once you put the order in, you can send the patient to any LabCorp facility. It's usually a walk-in basis. The patient can check in ahead of time online, and that's going to save them a lot of headache. They don't have to put any other information in. They essentially get a code, a number, and once they show up, they just get the blood test on. They can even pay their bill online. So that's a couple of ways to automate it. But yeah, that's LabCorp Link. Of course, there's Quest and there's Rupa and there's all these other lab companies that you can do it through. But the price is okay. I mean, I thought it was a little bit expensive, but certainly affordable for cash pay patients. You can get it much, 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 much cheaper down the road. Again, it really has to do with your volume, and that's the piece to negotiate. I had a person who walked me through the entire thing. So once you set up an account, they'll book a time for free for an hour to walk you through the entire LabCorp link, link.labcorp.com. And it's really nice. It's really useful to be able to do that. And then I can add all my patients in there. It's all HIPAA compliant. You get two-factor authentication. Super easy. And I don't even need it to integrate in my electronic health record. All right, guys, if you have any questions, go to digitalnomadphysician.com. Leave some comments below. What questions do you have when it comes to setting up your own accounts? That's what I do, is LabCorp. I was using Rupa Health before. I just wanted some other options for patients. And I know patients like LabCorp, so I send them there. Quest Diagnostics, that might be another one that I might set up an account with. If you're interested in setting up your own virtual medical practice, go to digitalnomadphysician.com/courses, and you can sign up for the course there. Take care.